editions for Halloween the game, which are launching on PS5 and Xbox Series X on October 6, 2026. Keep in mind, guys, this game comes out on September 4th for those who pre-order the Digital Deluxe Edition, and then September 8th for those who get the Standard Edition, or for those who just don't want to pre-order the game. So if you guys want to get the physical editions for Halloween the game, you're going to have to wait a month because it comes out on October 6th, 2026. Next up, we got
you
the
gotta pay
Collector's
double.
Edition, Limited Collector's Edition. I did pre-order this, by the way. It was very tough to pre-order because it was sold out pretty quick. My excuses, though, because it was pretty expensive, but it is my first collector's edition, so that's my excuse. But the limited collector's edition of Halloween the game is the perfect way to display your devotion to the boogeyman. Pre-order on PS5 or Xbox Series X today to secure Halloween the game, Michael Myers clown skin, advanced access, Michael Myers Sam Hain skin, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, advanced access, 4 civilian cosmetics, advanced access, exclusive Halloween poster, shape jump variant action figure, exclusive lenticular art, and then more surprises. Limited quantities available, releasing on October 6, 2026. So a month after the game comes out. But this is everything that's coming with the limited collector's edition. You know, it looks good. I'm not gonna lie, the action figure definitely caught my eye. I wonder what more surprises to come means. I have no idea. I wish I knew, but more surprises to come. I wonder what that is. But if you guys want to pre-order the limited collector's edition, I think for the most part, they're sold out. Like, you're going to have to get pretty lucky if you want to pre-order this today. Because when I pre-ordered this myself, I pre-ordered it the first day they announced it, and it was sold out pretty quick. So I checked the websites. Like I said, for the most part, they're all sold out. Like, and you're going to have to get lucky if you want to pre-order this right now, because a lot of people got it day one when they announced it. But I also want to mention something here because I'm pretty sure they actually did confirm this. So as you guys can see top right, it says advanced access to Michael Myers, Sam Hain, and clown skins. I'm pretty sure you can actually unlock those in the actual game itself. What I mean by that is you don't have to pre-order the collector's edition to get those skins. Like, if you don't get the collector's edition, I'm pretty sure you're able to unlock those skins in the actual game itself, like the Sam Hain and clown skins. So just keep that in mind. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they actually did confirm this. You don't have to get the collector's edition if you want those skins for Michael Myers and even the civilians. So just letting you guys know that. But I mean, this is huge. It was pretty expensive, but I'm hyped for it. I can't wait to do an unboxing video for this. Moving on to the heroes of Haddonfield, so the playable civilians. Halloween the game will feature 10 playable civilians at launch. Jennifer, Tanya, Rachel, Marcus, Thomas, Eric, Bob, Linda, Annie, and Lori. But keep in mind, if you upgrade to the Digital Deluxe Edition or even pre-order it, you get 2 additional civilians, which are Richard and Alexis. Keep in mind, by the way, you don't have to pre-order the Digital Deluxe Edition in order to get these 2 characters. When the game comes out, you can just upgrade to the Digital Deluxe Edition to get these 2 characters if you want. So if you don't upgrade or pre-order the game, you get 10 playable civilians at launch. If you pre-order the Digital Deluxe Edition or upgrade to the Digital Deluxe Edition at launch, you start off with 12 playable civilians. And keep in mind, when it comes to the civilians in this game, so like the heroes, they all have their own unique traits and stats. So some of them may be good at repairing, some of them may be bad at repairing, some may be good at running, some may be bad at running. That's the beautiful thing about this game. I like how every civilian has their own unique stats and traits. You know, so every civilian in this game is going to be unique in their own way. They're all going to have their own pros and cons, which is really good. That means that there's going to be a different play style for each civilian. Fun fact, by the way, if you're getting into the horror genre or new to the Halloween franchise, there are legacy characters in this game. So I mentioned 4 civilians: Bob, Annie, Linda, and Lori. Those 4 characters that I mentioned there are actually from the movie itself. So they're introducing legacy characters into the game. Like, these are characters from the movie. That is a huge W. Bringing characters from the movie into the game itself is really, really good. Plus, if you guys didn't know, Dr. Loomis is playable in Halloween the game. He's basically the Tommy Jarvis in Halloween the game. What I mean by that is he's not a playable civilian in terms of you can play him at the start of any match. You can play as him throughout the match. What I mean by that is he's basically Tommy Jarvis. So Tommy Jarvis from F13. So let's say you're playing Halloween the game and you die or escape. There's a chance you can come back as Dr. Loomis. So he's not a playable character at the start, but as the match progresses and people start to die and escape, um, there's a chance that someone can become Dr. Loomis, only one person. And I'm pretty sure, just like F13, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to call Dr. Loomis, like through a radio or something. And keep in mind, like I said, only one person can come back as Dr. Loomis. He's basically the hero of Haddonfield, like the true hero. And if I'm not mistaken, you can play as a cop as well. So not only can you play as the civilians in this game, if you die or escape, there's a chance you can come back as Dr. Loomis or even a cop. So there's so much variety in this game, which is awesome. Moving on to the single player mode. And as you guys can see here, I am playing the trailer for the single player mode. I'm going to summarize it because the devs did talk about the single player mode in their dev stream. So I'm going to summarize it a bit so you get a better understanding of what you're going to be playing when the game launches. I do have my notes here, so let's jump right into it. So the single player mode, there's going to be a single player story mode. It's basically a reimagined and extended version of the movie where you get to play through iconic scenes, but there are also brand new moments that weren't in the film. Keep in mind, you are playing as Michael Myers in this story mode, okay? You are playing as Michael Myers. The story is split into 6 chapters only, okay? So it's not going to be a long story mode. From my understanding, it is only 6 chapters. So yeah, the story is split into 6 chapters with cinematics connecting each one together. The tutorials are worked into the story naturally, so you'll learn the basics before jumping into multiplayer. The single player is essentially, yeah, like I said, a tutorial for Michael Myers. That's what the devs have been saying when it comes to the single player mode. It's a tutorial on how to play as Michael Myers, and it helps you learn his abilities, his kit. So yeah, if you want to learn Michael Myers and all that, single player is definitely the way to go. Throughout the campaign, you'll have different objectives, with most of them focused on taking out the residents of Haddonfield. There are also a few more open-ended sections where you can explore and find collectibles.
Regular
Checkpoints
edition
throughout
will be
each
like
chapter, and the
40, and I
campaign is
think
designed to be
the early
replayable.
access is 60
That's a big thing,
bucks.
by the way. Replayability is a huge thing.
I
From my
can't wait either,
understanding, when it
bro.
comes to the single player mode, I remember reading an article.
I'm too
There,
ready.
there is different endings, okay? So not everyone is going to have the same ending when it comes to the single player mode. They did say, from my understanding, that there's different endings when it comes to story mode, which is crazy because the replayability factor is there, right? Replayability is huge when it comes to these type of games, and since they have replayability in single player, that's huge. So different approaches and optional challenges will reward you with cosmetics that can be used in multiplayer. So when it comes to single player, this is huge, by the way. There's a reason why a lot of people are going to be playing, from my understanding, there's a reason why a lot of people are going to hop in single player first before going into multiplayer, and that's because you can unlock stuff when you play single player, such as cosmetics that you can use in multiplayer. That's exactly why a lot of people are playing single player mode first, so they can unlock the cosmetics before they hop into multiplayer. On top of that, there'll also be a simple single player mode where you can play as Michael to practice the gameplay and get comfortable with the mechanics before playing online. What I mean by that is you can play against bots. Okay? You can hop into an offline match as Michael Myers and play against NPCs, no real players, so you get a better understanding of how Michael Myers works. That is a huge W, by the way, because, you know, some people don't want to hop into multiplayer right away. They want to get comfortable with the killer. And this right here gives players the perfect opportunity to practice Michael Myers. I don't think you can play it the other way. What I mean by that is, I don't think you can hop
Most
into an
definitely
offline
pre-order
match
is
as a civilian
it's
and play
still open
against a bot
right
Jason.
now.
Or I
Yep.
was gonna say Jason.
You still got
I don't think
time,
you can hop into an offline match
depending
as a
on the
civilian and play
copy
against
you
an
want.
AI Michael Myers. I don't think you can do that.
I'm
I
thinking
think you
about
can only
doing a
hop into
giveaway.
an offline match as Michael Myers and play against AI civilians, so NPCs. So just remember that. That's definitely huge. I'm looking forward to the single player mode. I'm not a single
I think
player.
that'd be
I'm
fire
not a single
because
player
I
mode.
want people to
Like
play
I'm not a
with.
single player guy myself, but this definitely caught my eye. And the fact that you can unlock cosmetics and other stuff, I'm assuming, while playing single player, that's just a huge W. Moving on to the maps, there's going to be 3 maps at launch for Halloween the game, and I'm going to be showing you some screenshots for each map. So starting off with the first map, we have Orange Grove Estates. Keep in mind, if you want to get a closer look of these maps, they do have a trailer on their channel, which is Ilphonic, for all these maps I'm about to show you. But here are some screenshots for Orange Grove Estates. If you guys want to get a closer look at it, feel free to pause the video so you can take a closer look at the screenshots. I'll tell you one thing though, with the trailer and even the screenshots for these maps, the maps look very good visually. A lot of color, a lot going on, and it just looks beautiful. But those are the screenshots for Orange Grove Estates, which is the first map. The second map we have is called Haddonfield Town Center. Here are some screenshots for Haddonfield Town Center. This map is looking good. I'm not gonna lie, every map is looking good. Let me know, guys. Let me know. What do you guys think about 3 maps at launch? 3 maps at launch is not too shabby. I'm 100% confident they're obviously going to be releasing more maps in the future, but 3 maps at launch, not too shabby. I mean, 3 maps at launch with 12 playable civilians. If you get the deluxe edition, right? Digital deluxe edition, that is pretty nice. I can't lie with you guys. That is pretty nice. But those are the screenshots for Haddonfield Town Center. And then now for the third and final map that is coming out at launch is the Haddonfield Heights map. Here we go. So these are the screenshots for it. I think this one only has 3 screenshots. Yeah. But yeah, this one's nice. I mean, like I said, all 3 maps look very good visually. They definitely put a lot into it when it comes to the maps in my eyes. They definitely put a lot into it. Looking forward to seeing how the whole map looks, like when the game actually comes out, so I can explore it, to learn it, because map knowledge is huge in these type of games. But like I said, if you want to get if you guys want to get like a closer look at these screenshots, feel free to pause the video. If you want to get a better look at these maps, go on their YouTube channel, which is Ilphonic. I'll leave a link in the description, by the way, so you guys have easy access. But like I said, if you want to take a closer look at the maps and look at the trailer for it, I'll leave the link in the description for Ilphonic's channel. Also, there's going to be weather variants in this game, and as you guys can see on their Twitter page, it says, in the Midwest, fall weather can be quite unpredictable. Make sure you're prepared for whatever conditions Halloween night could throw your way. They did talk about this during their dev stream, by the way, and I'm going to show you a quick clip here that's on their Twitter page. It's 15 seconds long, and they show us the rain weather variants. So here we go. I don't know if they're going to be adding more weather variants, but from my understanding, like right now, all they showed us was the rain weather variant, but they could be adding more weather variants when the game launches. Who knows? But as you guys can see, it's raining on this map. I love weather variants. I love it. It's a small thing, but weather variants is so good when it comes to these type of games. The small things matter. The small things definitely matter when it comes to these type of games. So thank God they're adding weather variants. Moving on to the multiplayer mode for Halloween the game, the mode that a lot of people, including myself, are looking forward to. It's a 1v4 asymmetrical game. So it's Michael Myers versus the 4 heroes of Haddonfield, including the NPCs. Because if you guys didn't know, there is going to be NPCs in the multiplayer mode, and they actually play a big role when it comes to multiplayer. So just keep that in mind. NPCs do play a big role in the multiplayer mode. But let's talk about both sides here. I'm going to start off with Michael Myers and then the civilian side. When it comes to the Michael Myers side, I'm not going to talk about all of his abilities. I'm going to be talking about that later on in the video because there are multiple clips of his abilities online, so I'll be showcasing that after. But when it comes to the Michael Myers side, which is the killer side, main objective is to kill everything. Okay, that is his main objective. I mean, as it says here, the boogeyman's primary desire is to eliminate every living resident in this quiet town. So obviously, when it comes to playing as Michael Myers, you gotta kill everything that comes in your way. You gotta kill the NPCs. You gotta also kill the heroes of Haddonfield, the 4 real players. when it comes to this game because, like I said, it's a 1v4. So you got to eliminate everybody. The heroes of Haddonfield, which are 4 of them, and also the NPCs. Because if you guys didn't know, with the NPCs in this game, they can call the cops on you when you're playing as Michael Myers. So you want to stop them before they call the cops. And from what I've seen online, the NPCs help you, even the heroes, but the NPCs help you build your ability. What I mean by that is it helps you become stronger as Michael Myers when you stalk them. That's the key when it comes to playing as Michael Myers from what I've seen online when people got the chance to play this back in March at the PAX East event. You got to take advantage of the NPCs. You got to kill them, become stronger, get your abilities, and also kill the heroes if they come in your way as well. So that's the main objective when it comes to Michael Myers. But there's some abilities here they talked about, which is Killer Sense, which allows you to step behind the mask and stalk the residents of Haddonfield. When using this skill and entering the first-person perspective, Michael becomes aggressively aware of his surroundings and the proximity of potential prey. So, by focusing on targets with murderous intent, Michael builds varying levels of stalk, which aid him in identifying and tracking targets and open, increasingly satisfying options for executions. So, like I just said, this is one of his abilities. I'm pretty sure they have multiple clips online for it. I'm going to show that later on in the video. But when it comes to this ability, I mean, it helps you become stronger and you can do more executions, right? That's why when it comes to NPCs, you got to take advantage of them. NPCs play a big role in this game. Another ability is called shape jump. I'll be showing this throughout the video as well because shape jump is a very, very good ability from what I've seen online. And as it says here, it's one of the most powerful tools at Michael's disposal and supplies unlimited possibilities for iconic jump scare moments. This is what I'm talking about, by the way, guys. I'm going to show you some clips later on for the abilities. This game, I'm going to say it here first, okay? I'm going to say it here. I'm going to predict this. I really do believe that even after a year or two that this game is released, so like 2027, 2028, people are going to get jump scared nonstop. There's endless possibilities when it comes, or like unlimited possibilities, like they said there, my bad. Unlimited possibilities for iconic jump scare moments. Every day there's going to be someone getting jump scared by Michael Myers. And that's what I'm looking forward to with that ability right there, shape jump. And that's what I'm looking forward to this game in general, is jump scaring people and getting jump scared. So that's all I'm going to talk about when it comes to Michael Myers here. I mean, there's a lot more you can do as Michael Myers as well. I mean, there's environmental kills as well. When it comes to Michael Myers, like you can throw someone in the fire, you can kill them with the bench press when they're exercising, or when you're near gym equipment, you can kill them with a bench press. I'm pretty sure you can what's it called? Throw them out of the window. You can also pick up bodies from what I've seen. You can pick up bodies and put them in a closet, and you can go in a car as Michael Myers as well from what I've seen online, which is absolutely insane. There's so much when it comes to both sides, man. Now we're going to be talking about the civilian side. So now I'm going to be talking about the civilian side of things. So when it comes to the civilian side of things, this is very important. I'm going to repeat myself many times, but NPCs play a huge role when it comes to the multiplayer mode for both sides, especially the civilian side, because that's their main objective. And yes, there's going to be times where you can escape pretty quick because the RNG is in your favor. But from what I've seen online, if you escape right away without helping a resident of Haddonfield, you get little to no XP. So I'm going to read a couple things here so you guys get a better understanding when it comes to the civilian side. So as a civilian, it's up to you to find fellow Haddonfield residents, convince them of his malicious intent, and guide them safely to one of several possible randomized escapes located around the map before they meet an end. This distinctive cast of playable civilian characters each comes equipped with unique stats, special traits, and signature personalities. I talked about this earlier when I was going through every hero or civilian in this game. To ensure no two matches of Halloween play out the same, our team has constructed a vast playground of possibilities in Haddonfield, offering civilians a multitude of diverse gameplay systems to aid them in achieving their objectives and surviving the night. As civilians navigate these environments, they will uncover points of interest revealing resident NPCs, lootable containers, hiding places, telephones, possible escape routes, and more. Thoroughly and cautiously exploring your surroundings could very well mean the difference between life and death. So, last thing I want to talk about here, Civilians are tasked with tracking down surviving residents and warning them of the looming threat. Successful conversations with residents can permit civilians to request additional calls to police, commands to find secure hiding places, or companionship as they navigate the formerly peaceful streets of Haddonfield. Whether it's a local family friend or the authorities, there's safety in numbers. So yeah, the main objective as civilians is to warn the residents of Haddonfield, tell a couple of them to call the police, tell a few of them to come with you for companionship, because let's say Michael Myers jumps you, at least you got people by your side to attack Michael Myers. I'm really hoping the NPCs in this game are pretty smart. What I mean by that is I'm hoping the NPCs actually react and do objectives and fight Michael Myers if needed. Because with past ASIM games like F13 Killer Clowns, the NPCs were pretty bad. Like, they would just stand there. So hopefully with this game, the NPCs are reactive at least, and they can help you, whether it's calling the police, finding a hiding spot, or companionship. I also want to mention this, by the way, because I know some people might ask, like, oh, can you kill Michael Myers? No, you cannot kill Michael Myers, as it says here in the bottom. Okay? While he can't be killed, with enough community resistance, the proper equipment, and sheer manpower, he can be detained. Okay? He can be detained and shipped back to Smith Grove's sanitarium. So you can't kill Michael Myers, but you can detain him. Okay? You can detain him. We saw that, I think, in one of their trailers. I haven't seen any gameplay of anyone, detaining Michael Myers from the beta that happened back in March, but yeah, how do you guys feel about that? Not being able to kill Michael Myers, but you can detain him. I'm assuming that detaining Michael Myers is going to be very, very tough. So before I move on to the next topic, I do have some notes for the multiplayer, and I also want to read one more thing here on their page. Let's read the last paragraph here, then I'll talk about my notes. So once the innocent residents of Haddonfield have been located and persuaded, it's time for the civilians to plan their harrying escape. Lootable containers scattered throughout the map contain weapons, distractions, and key items that can be used to unlock and access a variety of possible escape routes. The location of these items and escapes changes from match to match, so civilians greatly benefit from adjusting their strategies based on the objects uncovered. It's also worth noting that initiating these escape sequences generates a tremendous amount of noise, which will alert Michael to your exact location. So there's a lot for both sides, by the way, guys. There's going to be a lot to learn in this game. I'll put it that way. There's going to be a lot to learn. But now I just want to go over my notes, because I do have some notes regarding the actual dev stream when it comes to the multiplayer mode. So when it comes to the multiplayer mode, the NPCs will react to both the civilians and Michael, so they'll respond to what's happening around them. They're also trying to capture those classic horror movie moments that make every match feel tense and unpredictable. You'll be able to load into private matches with up to 5 players. So yeah, it's a 1v4 like I said, and you can load into private matches with up to 5 players because, like I said, 1v4, which equals 5. This is also huge what I'm about to say here, because they did confirm this on their Twitter page and also the dev stream. So if more than one person wants to play the same civilian, that's allowed, okay? So there's going to be duplicate civilians. Let's say you and your buddy want to play Laurie. You both can play Laurie. That's a big thing, by the way, when it comes to these type of games. I like how they're doing that. You should be able to play the same character. Shouldn't be limited to only one person. So that's good how if more than one person wants to play the same civilian, go for it. Like, since it's a 1v4, those 4 heroes can play the same character if they want. That's a huge W. There's also going to be an in-games friend list, and there's also going to be a full crossplay support. I'm really hoping that the in-game friends list is good. I'm really hoping you can actually add people from the actual game itself, because I remember the last time Ilphonic had an in-games friends list, it was pretty bad at first. So hopefully they learned from that and they actually implement a good friends list system where you can actually add people in the actual game itself. And then as of right now, they did confirm this, by the way, on their dev stream. There aren't any plans for cross progression. What I mean by that is, let's say you play on Xbox and you play on Xbox for 2 months, but now you want to switch over to PC. it's not going to save. You're going to have to restart on PC. So there's going to be no cross progression. Just keep that in mind. So when you buy this game, make sure the platform you buy it on, you're going to play on that platform and not switch. So just keep that in mind. But that's all I want to talk about when it comes to the multiplayer mode. I'm going to talk about Michael Myers' abilities, like I said, but yeah, there's a lot when it comes to the multiplayer mode, and I'm looking very forward to it. So before I move on to the next topic, let me just talk about something real quick about the multiplayer mode. So as you guys can see here on their Twitter page, they said mysterious items provide civilians with invaluable methods of fighting back against Michael's seemingly overwhelming power. There may be hope for Haddonfield after all. They did talk about this during their dev stream, but they didn't go in depth. They want us to experience this. So they didn't really talk about it, but yes, there's going to be mysterious items in multiplayer mode, like scattered around the map. I don't know what it means, but we'll see what happens. I just want to let you guys know that because they didn't go in depth about this. They really want us to experience this next month. So they didn't talk about it as much, but they did show this here on our page and just gave us a little description. So now I'm going to be showing you some clips of Michael Myers' abilities. And there's a lot, by the way, guys, a lot of clips I'm about to show you. So be ready. Here we go. So first off, we got turn off the lights, lock those doors, terrify your victims, and use Michael's blackout ability to submerge Haddonfield in darkness. This blackout ability is going to be crazy. They showed us this in the dev stream. Look at that. Boom. Close the door with his ability while she tried to run away. And now she's dead. Rest in peace. That ability is going to be cracked because when a civilian tries to run under the door, you use that ability. Boom. Door closes in their face. You grab them. Dead. Next clip we got here. Michael can use the shape slip ability to materialize inside hiding places and emerge when civilians least expect it. So from the outside, just watch. From the outside, he can teleport into a closet. And look, that NPC right there, I think, right, or the hero, whatever. Boom, they got caught off guard because he was on the outside, but he teleported inside. That ability, dude, I'm telling you guys, so many of these abilities, especially this one, you can just catch people off guard and jump scare them. I cannot wait for the jump scares. Track down your victims using detection pulse and then use shape jump to creep inside their homes and finish the job. Nobody can hide from the boogeyman. So this ability, they show this in their dev stream. This ability, as you guys can see, you can't see where they are in the house, but it shows red, which means that someone's in the house. And then now I'm using shape jump to go in there. Keep in mind, you can only use shape jump. I'm pretty sure they said this in their stream, which makes sense. You can only like shape jump in a room that's dark. Like obviously, because Michael Myers, he's not good with light. Does that make sense? The whole thing with shape jump is you gotta turn on the lights. You gotta turn on the lights so Michael can't teleport on you. Michael can teleport in the dark. That's why he just teleported in the laundry room, because the laundry room, or like that's why he shifted in the laundry room. It's because it's dark in there, right? So you want to turn on the lights so it affects Michael Myers' ability. Hopefully that makes sense what I'm trying to say. Next up, we got use Michael's blackout ability to stop fleeing motorists in their tracks. So yes, I'm going to show you this clip. Watch. Hero's driving, uses the ability, car's done. He turns off the car with that ability. So yes, you are able to drive cars in this game as a civilian. So just keep that in mind. You are able to drive a car. Shape jump is unpredictable, unexplainable, and incredibly deadly. Michael players can leverage this power to keep the residents of Haddonfield looking over their shoulders. Shape jump is a really good ability. Really, really good. Like that. Look at that. Look. The hero's running away. Boom. She trips. Michael's behind her, grabs her. Done. I'll tell you, shape jump is going to be so good when it comes to just catching people off guard, cutting them off, and just, oh, it's going to be so nice. Next up, we got as Michael, the shadows are one of your best tools for traversal. Shape dash helps close the distance on fleeing victims with deadly efficiency. So shape dash. Boom, look at that. You catch up to them so quick. See, obviously, you see how there he can't, you see how right here, see how he dashes, but it's red? You can't, if I'm not mistaken, obviously the light is affecting him. That's why he can't like, you know, become Michael again. Like he can't get out of the shadow. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Like there's a reason why he can't transform to the human shape. It's because of the light. The light is affecting him. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you can't like I don't know if I'm wrong when I say this. Let me know for those who've played this game at PAX East. Let's say you're using shape jump or shape dash. If you're right beside them, can you activate it? Does that make sense? Like can you go back to Michael's physical form beside them, or do you have to be like at a certain distance? I know the light messes him. I know the light messes him up, so he can't like transform into his physical form under the light. But I'm not too sure when it comes to, you know, how close he is to the civilian. Not too sure about that. Next up is you think vehicles guarantee your escape. There's no escaping Michael Myers. This is going to confirm something else as well. As you guys can see, yes, you can ride a bike as a counselor. Or does it say counselor? You can ride a bike as a civilian in this game, a hero. And you could also keep in mind, you can also ride a bike as Dr. Loomis. That's crazy how I just grabbed him off like that. That's crazy. That's crazy how she just grabbed her off like that, man. What the hell? But yeah, so when it comes to civilian side of things, I'm going to be talking about that as well here when I show you guys these clips. So with the civilian side of things, you can drive a car, you can ride a bike. Keep in mind, if you spawn in as Dr. Loomis can also ride a bike. So that's pretty dope. I don't know if there's even a clip on this, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, when you play a civilian in this game, believe it or not, you can smoke a joint and you can chug a beer, I'm pretty sure. So just letting you guys know that. You can smoke a joint, you can drive a car, and you can ride a bike. Next up, we got step behind the mask and then step behind the wheel. So they did show this at the end of their dev stream. Just guys, this is crazy. If this I'm
featuring
assuming
a new and familiar
clip,
locations, while the
just wait.
and the
I'm assuming with this
Halloween
clip, you're going to be
Access,
able to drive a car with Michael Myers
and
like
and I buy
online.
this one, but
I think single player, you're going to be able to drive a car because what happened. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to drive a car in the single player because what happened in the first movie. But man, just imagine you're playing as civilian and you see someone driving towards you thinking it's your own teammate, but it's Michael Myers and he runs you over. There's more than one way to leave Haddonfield. Enshrouded in darkness, throwable weapons enable Michael to cut the power from afar. Oh shit! See, I did not know this. I just saw this. I just saw this clip. I'm like, oh, it looks interesting because he can throw. I forgot he can throw weapons. They did mention that, but being able to throw weapons to cut the power, that is pretty dope. Experience Halloween through the eyes of Michael Myers with immersive first-person stalking. This was the ability I was talking about when I was explaining the multiplayer mode, how you stalk in first person. Michael Myers in first person under the mask. I like how they did this ability. It's a quick clip. This was like an early clip as you can see from this was an early clip from October 1st, 2025, so last year. And then the last one I have here is mark your calendars. We are officially halfway to Michael's favorite holiday, which also means we're less than 5 months away from the release of Halloween. We're a month away from the game, but the reason why I want to show this clip is because look what happens. Just look what happens. Michael Myers kills someone with a fridge. This is an environmental kill, okay? From what I've seen online as well, this is the only clip I've seen of the fridge kill. But like I said before, you can kill people in the fire. Like you can throw their body in the fire. You can throw them through windows, I believe. You can also kill civilians with gym equipment. There's going to be a lot of environmental kills in this game. I'll put it that way, which is also very good. And environmental kills are like a little thing, but the little things always matter when it comes to this. When it comes to these type of games, environmental kills are just really, really good. Well, those are all the clips I have when it comes to his abilities. Hopefully, I didn't miss any. If I did miss any, I apologize. But those are a lot of clips when it comes to Michael Myers. And dude, the jump scares with this game is gonna be insane, especially when you play as Michael Myers, just jump scaring people. I also want to mention one thing, by the way. When it comes to multiplayer, I forgot to mention this earlier. When it comes to multiplayer, there is proximity chat. They did confirm that. Proximity chat meaning you could talk to people in your game. So I'm pretty sure Michael Myers will be able to talk to the civilians. Civilians will be able to talk to Michael Myers. which is a lot of fun. Proximity chat makes these games a lot more fun. But like I said before, though, with the civilians, I might show you guys some clips here if I can find some. But yes, you can drive a car, you can ride a bike, you can smoke a joint, and you can also throw weapons, I believe, and throw firecrackers and all that, which is pretty cool. There's so much when it comes to this game, but those are the abilities from Michael Myers. Moving on to the next topic, and this is a big one, which is progression. So when it comes to progression, they did talk about this topic in their dev stream, which was last month, so I'm going to summarize it for you guys. So when it comes to progression, there will be profile icons and profile backgrounds that you can unlock and customize. So as you guys can see on my screen here, they did share this on their social media pages. So they showed us some profile icons and profile backgrounds that you can equip on your profile, which is pretty cool. You'll have an overall profile level, separate levels for each civilian, and a level that's just for Michael. If you're playing as Michael, you'll also be able to level up your weapons over time. That's a huge W, by the way. I don't know what the level cap is for this game. They didn't say anything, but not only do you have an overall profile level, but there's separate levels for each civilian, a level for Michael, and a level for the weapons that you use with Michael Myers. I'm assuming the more you level up with each civilian, Michael Myers, and the weapons, you unlock stuff. And that's huge because when it comes to these type of games, progression is a huge W. People want to grind for something. So that's a good thing. So next we get, there will be progressive challenges that reward you with different unlockables as you keep playing. There's also going to be an in-game currency in Halloween the game. Because guess what, guys? For civilians, there will be perks and a perk inventory, so you can collect different perks and build your own perk loadouts. So this is huge, okay? Let's talk about the perk system here real quick before we move on to the next topic. So with the perk system, it's basically like F13. They did confirm that. They didn't say it was like F13, but the way they said it. So basically, with the perk system, they said you're going to have to roll for your perks like F13 using in-game currency. Because with F13, you have to roll your perks, and there's different variations of the perks. It's going to be the same thing in this game. I was a big fan of the perk system in F13, how you roll perks, and since it's the same thing in Halloween the game pretty much, like they confirmed, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with rolling perks, and I like how there's an in-game currency as well. So you don't so you can so you can use that in-game currency to roll your perks and potentially buy stuff in the game with your in-game currency. Overall, having a progression system, grindable content, it's a huge W. There's two main things. A lot of games should have nowadays: replayability and a grindable system. This game, when it comes to replayability, I gotta play the game first to determine that. But so far, when it comes to progression and grindable content or grindable system, they're doing a good job overall. So now I'm going to be talking about alternate costumes and cosmetics because they did talk about this during their dev stream. So as you guys can see here, they said by completing challenges, players can unlock a variety of alternate outfits in Halloween the game, including these striking civilian looks pulled from a single player story mode. Not gonna lie, by the looks of it, I think I'm gonna have to play single player first because of the stuff you can unlock. And keep in mind, this is only a teaser as well. Like these are not all the cosmetics that are going to be in the single player mode. This is a teaser, which means you're going to be able to unlock more and possibly even Michael Myers cosmetics as well. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to unlock some Myers cosmetics as well through single player. Fun fact, by the way, this outfit right here is actually from the movie. Not only are they bringing in characters from the movie into the game, but they're also bringing in some outfits from the movie into the game as well, which is a huge W. So we get some outfits from the movie, and we also get characters from the movie as well. Hey, maybe we'll unlock some more outfits from the movies as well the more we play single player. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get, I don't know if this is going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Michael Myers ghost cosmetic where he has the sheet over him with the glasses. If you know, you know, because that is an outfit he wore in the first film, which was pretty funny. If they do that, I'm rocking that cosmetic. But this is just the beginning, guys. It's a little teaser. If they're doing this right now, I really hope they do it in the future as well when it comes to bringing in outfits from the movies and all that. But From the looks of it, they're having fun with the cosmetics. I mean, for the pre-order cosmetic, we have a glowing Michael Myers, which means that they're having fun. They're not trying to be too realistic when it comes to cosmetics, and that's a good thing, by the way. Not trying to be too realistic is a great thing when it comes to cosmetics. And it's the little things, by the way. I know some people don't like cosmetics, but there's a whole community of people who love cosmetics. So the little things do matter. And I also have a note here for this as well, because I wanted to mention this. So when it comes to the alternate costumes and cosmetics, yes, as they said here, you unlock it by completing different challenges. But here's the good part too, if you guys are into customization and all that. You'll be able to personalize your civilians with things like different hairstyles, eyewear, and I'm pretty sure, like even cosmetics you can customize as well. But I'm pretty sure they said makeup as well, but I could be wrong. Overall, in general, the customization looks very promising in this game because, like I said, customize different hairstyles, eyewear, cosmetic options, stuff like that. If you guys are into cosmetics and customization in general, this is a huge W. So this is going to be the last topic I'm talking about before I show you their Discord server and all that so you can catch up with the news. So the last topic is the Q&A stream. I know I talked about a lot of stuff from their Q&A stream, but I'm going to be talking about the Q&A part itself when the devs answered the questions from the community. So I do have some notes here. I'm going to go over it. First things first, there's going to be no beta for this game. I mean, the game is coming out in a month. They did confirm there's going to be no beta. And as I said before, there is a proximity chat, and they did confirm that. So the game will have proximity chat, meaning people can talk to one another. And I'm pretty sure the killer could talk to the civilian side and vice versa. The civilian side could talk to Michael Myers. Also, they mentioned this. This was a good question. Someone from the community asked if the inmate skin from Michael Myers, like if the face is going to stay blurred. Yes, the inmate skin you get for pre-ordering the game, by the way, the face will stay blurred, okay? Just letting you guys know that it will stay blurred. But they also said some things here too. I'm gonna go over some things here because this is very important. So these are the notes from some of the answers they gave, okay? So just keep that in mind. The gameplay is mainly being designed to be fun and immersive for casual players while still having enough depth and balance for more competitive players. They'll also be listening to community feedback and making changes over time if needed. They're also putting a big focus on pacing. They don't want to limit how people play, but they're adding systems to help prevent bully squads and keep matches feeling fair. Michael's supposed to be very strong, and they want to make sure he always feels scary. And also, after the Q&A, I showed you guys the clip where Michael Myers can drive. They did. Someone asked them the question at the end, "Oh, can Michael Myers drive?" And they showed that clip that I showed you where Michael Myers was driving to.
Yeah, it's gonna be fire. Shout out to my man Nick. Shout out Nick. Give Nick some love. Shout out Nick, man. I guess they talking about. What they talking about? Shout out Nick. Nick with the it. Give us some fires. You feel me? It won't be too loud. Shout out that boy Nick. Oh, I'll be having hella stuff going on. For sure. Y'all gonna see me on there for sure, for sure. Skip that. Nah. That's wild. Hold on. Shout out that boy Nick. Nick got that stick. Watch. That's on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you got?
See what act talking about.
New details and reveals from Elphonic's Q&A live stream for Halloween the game. Loads of new information and stuff to look at from the single player, multiplayer, new gameplay and unlockables, perk system, in-game currency, account leveling, all that good stuff. Subscribe for more Halloween the game, and let's get it.
See what they talking about.
Alright, I'm going to try and go over this quick and cleanly in bullet point type of fashion. I want to start off first with story mode. First of all, you play through story mode from Michael's perspective, meaning you can relive iconic moments from the movie and also play and see never seen before scenes from Michael Myers' point of view. Now, the story mode will have 6 chapters, and also each of these chapters will have challenges you can complete. Also, by completing these challenges, you will unlock outfits that you can use in multiplayer. And they actually showed us 3 examples of these outfits you can unlock through these challenges. We got Rachel right here with this beautiful outfit. We also got Marcus, and we also got a movie outfit for Annie. Very cool outfits, and I'm sure there will be lots more challenges you can unlock for every other character in the game. And speaking of characters, there will be a total of 10 characters on launch. However, if you do get the Digital Deluxe Edition, you do get those 2 extra characters, Richard and Alexis, for a total of 12 characters. And also, I'm pretty sure they said that all the original characters that they made for this game, and also the legacy characters, they will all be featured in this story mode. And a matter of fact, this Rachel and Marcus outfit you seen right here is how they will look like in the story mode. But once again, you could unlock these outfits to use in multiplayer. Alright, now moving on to multiplayer. There will be an in-games friends list. There is cross-play on all platforms, meaning you can play with Xbox, PlayStation, and PC players. However, there is no cross-progression, so you can't play on an Xbox and then transfer your accounts to PlayStation and have all the stuff you unlocked from Xbox. There will be private matches up to 5 players. There will be proximity chat in-game, and you can have duplicate characters in a match. Meaning if someone picks Rachel, you can also pick Rachel. So if you want, you can have everyone playing as Rachel versus Michael Myers. As for the maps, there are 3 maps so far. We got Haddonfield Heights, Haddonfield Town Center, and Orange Grove Estates. And also these maps will have weather effects. So you can spawn into a normal Haddonfield Heights map, or you can spawn into Haddonfield Heights rain variant. And also these rainy variants of map will have little effects on your gameplay. Like you might be harder to hear something or see through windows and stuff like that, but that's about it, I think. Alright, now let's move on to how the unlockables and leveling system works. So you won't just only be unlocking new outfits for your characters, but you can also unlock profile icons and backgrounds that you can use to customize your profile. And I'm pretty sure you can unlock similar items like this on screen in multiple different ways. For example, there's like 3 different ways you can level up in this game. There's a profile level that you can level up, kind of similar to TCM, where that profile level's max rank is 99. We don't know what the max rank is for Halloween yet, but I'm assuming it's pretty high considering there are other games like Killer Clowns. But there's not just a profile level, you can also level up each individual character. So for example, you can level up Rachel from like level 1 through 50. That's just an example. I don't know what the levels are. Or you can level up Laurie, Marcus, Annie. Any of the 10 characters will have their own leveling system. So I'm pretty sure by leveling up like a character like Rachel, you can unlock exclusive stuff for her only, like exclusive profile icons, exclusive profile backgrounds, and outfits. Maybe there might be like a max rank outfit for Rachel herself and also all the other characters. So that's pretty cool. And as for Michael Myers, you can level him up as well. So by leveling up Michael, you can unlock new profile icons and backgrounds. And if I'm not mistaken, if I didn't misunderstood what they said in the live stream, I think they said you can also unlock weapons by leveling up Michael Myers. And not just that, those weapons you unlock, you can use those weapons and level up each of those weapons as well. And to go even further, as you level up those weapons, I think you can unlock specific kills within those weapons. I think I misunderstood that. I don't know. You can watch the live stream to double check, but I think that's what they said. All right, moving on. They will have an in-game currency. However, it's not going to work as like a shop, I don't think, where you can use your currency to buy like outfits and stuff like that. No, this currency is going to be used to roll for perks. If you roll for perks in F13 the game, I think it's going to be similar to that. So you spend your currency to roll for perks, and then you can select a certain amount of perks that you got from the rolling in-game. All right, that was a quick rundown of that. Now moving on to the last bits, we got some gameplay stuff. So they already made some changes to Michael's shift jump ability. How it works now is that you cannot shift through a window or a door that has light around it. So you can only shift through a window that has no light. Meaning if you're playing as a civilian, what you want to do every time when you enter a house is turn on every single light so Michael can't shift in there. Another cool ability that they showed for Michael is an ability called Shape Slip. So apparently you just gotta look at like a closet or a hiding spot and you could just teleport into it. I think that's how that works, but the lights also have to be off, I think. Now keep in mind, I think all of these abilities will have a
turning
cooldown.
them lights
So it's
off.
not like it's gonna be
the
OP and
lights,
that you
hit
can
the
just spam
lights.
it all the time. I'm pretty sure they will have a decent amount of cooldown. Now another one of his abilities called the Blackout. This ability can turn off lights, disable cars
Always
as the
gonna be that
civilians are
one
driving
person.
them, and also it can close doors. And I'm pretty sure it can close windows as well. So they give a good example right here. If a victim's trying to run out the house, you could just use your breakout ability, trap them in, and grab them. Or if you're trying to shift into a house that has a whole bunch of lights on, you can use your blackout ability to turn off the lights, and then you can shift inside the building. So pretty cool stuff. There's lots of counters within the gameplay itself, whether if you're on the victim or the killer side. Oh yeah, and they also reveal that Michael Myers can drive vehicles in multiplayer. So that's freaking awesome. The question is now, can you run over these civilians as Michael Myers? All right, one last thing I want to talk about is these mysterious items that they showed off. Now, these are for the civilians, not for Michael Myers. So what these items are is to help these survivors turn the tides against Michael's. We don't know what they do yet, but you can find these items in-game, but they're going to be very rare. So you just find them by looting up everything in the game. We don't know how these items work, but I'm just thinking it's kind of like Kryptonite to Superman, you know, just makes them weaker. So maybe the hourglass makes it so Michael Myers' cooldown time is way longer. Maybe the lantern makes it so he can't use his shift ability because you have the lantern light or something. And maybe that omelet just makes his damage weaker. I don't know, bro. But pretty cool stuff for the civilians to find to help defeat Michael Myers. All right,
so
now
it's always that one person
from the live stream, all the big stuff at least. Once again, check out the live stream if you want to see all this stuff for yourself. But that's it from me. Thanks for watching.
Dang, I forgot the light, bro. My bad.
Okay, survivors. There could be
How
details
the
hiding in
hell
plain
he get
sight
in
that
here?
point toward abilities in Michael's kit that Ilphonic hasn't actually
How
announced
Michael
yet.
get in
And
here?
if Halloween's progression lets us build around abilities like this, that could be one of the biggest things separating this game from the asymmetrical horror games that burned bright for 3 weeks and then wandered off into the woods. Check out the ticket booth at this movie theater. You can see Michael for about half a second as the hero pans his light around, but when he pans back, Michael's already gone, like he was never there, and we just imagine the whole thing. Now, there doesn't seem to be a door or any normal way into or out of this booth. Maybe Shape Slip got him into the booth and Shape Jump got him back out. Or maybe it's just trailer editing and I really shouldn't be
Shout
reading
out to
anything else
these
into
folks,
this.
man.
But
They got me
Ilphonic
hyped,
has
man.
confirmed that we've only seen
They
part
got
of
me
Michael's
hyped
kit.
and ready.
So a projection, a decoy, or some other way
Ooh,
to
how you
screw
get
the
through
hero's
that
head
door
is
still?
at least on the table.
It's
Now, I'm
crazy.
going to swing back to that shot in a bit because I went digging through Ilphonic's confirmed progression systems, and it looks like Halloween is a much broader game than most people really, realize. Rewards cross between the campaign and multiplayer, and that gives Michael and heroes way more ways to progress. And that's encouraging, but a concern I do have is one of its most interesting systems looks an awful lot like something that Ilphonic's already tried with Killer Clowns. And I watched plenty of people ignore it,
You're
leave
all
the
right,
lobby,
man.
and go do literally anything else.
Feel
So I do
everybody.
think Halloween has enough depth and enough overlapping systems to give it as good a chance of lasting as any ASIM that's come before it. Maybe better. But only if all this progression creates new decisions and new
Everybody
ways to
die.
play, instead of just stacking menus that everybody's going to abandon once Michael stops being the new toy. Progression is spread across the whole game. The July developer Q&A made it clear that Halloween isn't leaning on one giant XP bar. Your profile has an overall account level, but every hero also levels separately. As we play, we're going to be earning perks, and we're going to use those perks to build different decks for each hero. So even after your overall profile levels up, you'll still be developing individual characters and experimenting with new builds. Now, I'm going to come back to exactly how we earn those perks because the random rolls are kind of where one of my concerns starts to creep in. Michael has his own side of the system too. He has a separate killer level, his weapons can be leveled, and new executions can be unlocked along the way. We don't know yet how much of that changes the way that he's going to play and how much of it simply gives him new and exciting ways to turn Haddonfield into a crime scene, but we know for sure that there is a distinct progression path built specifically for him. And everything we do feeds into a wider reward track. Challenges in normal play can earn you currency and new ways to customize your characters and profile. So even after you've settled on a favorite build, the game still has things for you to chase. That's the strength of this setup. Finishing one level doesn't mean that you're done progressing because several parts of the game are always moving at once. Each of Halloween's 6 story chapters
State
also
of
include secondary
Decay
challenges
3.
and
Whatever
collectibles.
happened to
The more
that?
you replay and uncover, the more lore and rewards that you can carry back into multiplayer, including
I
new
thought that
executions
was
for
supposed
Michael
to
and
drop
cosmetics
too.
for both sides, Michael and Hero. That keeps the campaign from becoming a one-and-done story mode. Even if multiplayer is where you spend most of your time, progress made in the campaign can still improve the larger game. And campaign isn't the only place where executions become part of the progression. During a multiplayer match, Michael builds stock on his targets. As his stock levels rise, more unlocked execution options are going to become available for that particular match. Each match also gives Michael special targets that provide greater rewards if he kills them before their timers expire. So he has a reason to hunt particular residents, stalk them properly, and choose how he kills them, instead of just sprinting at the first person he sees like Jason Voorhees after somebody took off with his mom's sweater. PAX also showed us that our part in the match doesn't end just because you escaped or Michael turned you into a yard decoration. Instead of dropping you into spectator mode and asking you to watch everybody else have fun, Halloween gives you mini games that can help the heroes still alive in Haddonfield and may earn you a way back into the match. If that sounds familiar, it should, because Ilphonic has tested this idea before. Killer Clowns already tried to keep us from leaving at PAX. One attendee reported escaping, completing a timing minigame, and then choosing one of 3 perk cards. Now, those cards could improve things like melee attack, stamina, or lockpicking for the heroes still running around Haddonfield. Another attendee died and reported seeing the same setup. They kept completing minigames and choosing from the 3 cards until a police card appeared. Pulling that card immediately brought them back as an officer. Ilphonic has officially confirmed that dead heroes can continue supporting the team and return as either a sheriff's deputy or Dr. Loomis. Now, we don't know whether Loomis has his own rare card. I would assume so, or whether he and the police share the same draw pool, or what determines the odds for that matter. But this lines up extremely well with something that I've been speculating about for a while. I've thought for a while now that police and Loomis would probably work like the 4-leaf clover resurrection card in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. If you die or escape, you get to play mini games, and every once in a while, the Hand of Fate coughs up a way back into the match via a 4-leaf clover. Most other cards simply gave you an item that could be kept or handed to somebody else still alive. Halloween appears to be using the same skeleton with a much stronger payoff. Throwing somebody an energy drink was occasionally useful for sure. Returning as Dr. Loomis with a revolver and a chance to swing the entire match is the sort of thing that could keep more people in the lobby. And I can see what Ilphonic may be trying to fix here. Killer Clowns gave us something to do after death, which was great. I enjoyed that. But plenty of people still bailed. I saw it constantly. Some escaped and then decided their job was finished. If this was you, you have failed at the game. Others died and immediately went searching for another match, ignoring the fact that they could still help their team and possibly get back into the game. Some stayed in the lobby but just sat there watching instead of playing the minigames, even though the remaining humans had a much better chance if everyone was helping out. Halloween offers a better fantasy and a much more powerful return.
So Dr.
Police
Loomis
and
got a
Loomis could
chance to
change the
arrest
outcome of
him.
the match instead of handing out another inventory item, however useful it might be. But whatever we're doing between death and that reward is still going to have to be entertaining. If we're playing the same timing mini game for the 15th time, then plenty of people are going to queue for another match instead of sitting in the afterlife playing a busted Game Boy. A good system can give us a reason to stay, but it's not going to make us care. Halloween needs the reward, the odds, and the time investment balanced well enough that leaving feels like walking away from a real second chance. Aphonic says playing earns us points that can be used to roll new perks. Now, those perks become the building blocks for decks that we assign to individual heroes, so we control the pool that we take into a match, but we don't yet know which cards the game will actually deal us once we get into that match and it starts. My best guess is that we'll build a larger deck but only draw part of it during each match. Maybe 5 cards go in and 3 come out. That's only an example because Ilphonic hasn't confirmed either number. That uncertainty could actually slow down the race toward one perfect meta build, which would be nice. We can stack a hero's deck around a particular playstyle, but if the cards are dealt randomly, we still have to adapt once the match begins. You can walk into Haddonfield with the perfect plan. The dealer may still hand you 2 jokers and a coupon for Bob's Hardware while Michael folds your teammate into a mailbox. Random perk rolling also comes with some Friday the 13th baggage. If every roll can spit out a duplicate or the same perk with a fractionally better number, progression is going to turn into a slot machine that never really pays out. Whether perks have tiers or can move between heroes is going to make a huge difference. Most of all, those decks need to change the decisions that we make, not just make the same actions happen a little bit faster.
Killing the NPCs make you stronger as well.
Job while forcing us to depend on our teammates somewhere else. If one deck can solve every problem, the system hasn't really created any variety at all. It's created one correct answer and a bunch of ways to build your hero completely wrong. Because a giant perk catalog can still feed a painfully narrow game. Dead by Daylight has spent a decade proving that very thing. Halloween has a broader playground than Dead by Daylight. And now I want to be fair to Dead by Daylight. Its survivor perks do way more than just make you run a little bit faster. After a decade of updates, they touch almost every part of the game's core loop. Rick Grimes can apparently rebuild a broken pallet now, so we've moved a tad beyond shaving half a second off another lap around the killer shack. But nearly all that progression flows back into the same handful of jobs. Repair generators, extend a chase, heal or rescue somebody, and delay the killer long enough to open the gate. Even the spooky basement ritual eventually makes the generators easier to finish. Rick builds another pallet so somebody can run another lap. Dead by Daylight has an ocean of perks feeding a fairly small swimming pool, and half of that pool has a pallet sitting next to it. After perks are unlocked across the roster, survivors also become mostly interchangeable. Pick the character you like, equip the same 4 perks, and commence the Olympic pallet hurdling event. The killer side's got a much stronger variety, which is nice because every killer has an individual power. Survivor progression mostly changes how efficiently we perform the existing loop, though. Texas Chainsaw Massacre
did.
is a
I
closer
was playing
comparison
earlier.
because progression shapes a
I gotta chop
chop
some up and chop some
Killer Clowns gets there from another
still
direction.
gotta
and
get the
human
video
side has
together.
more control over how the match unfolds. And even death doesn't, necessarily end a player's contribution in that game. Those are much closer to the kind of scope that Halloween appears to be chasing. Halloween looks incredibly broad for a launch package because both sides are doing more than just repeating one objective. The heroes are trying to save an entire town while Michael systematically tears their work apart and turns Haddonfield into a giant pile of bodies. Even escaping or dying doesn't necessarily end a player's influence, and progress made in the campaign is going to follow us back into multiplayer. That gives all of
it
these
wasn't a
progression
bad
systems
game.
a
It
much
was pretty
larger
good.
game to feed into. Halloween
I
has a lot
just
of
still gotta
places for
probably
progression
learn
to
the
land.
mechanics
Dead by
and
Daylight wins
a
the
couple
raw
little
volume
things on it,
contest after
but
10 years
so
of
far it
updates
was
for
it
sure.
was alright.
Halloween
decent.
looks like it's trying to spread its progression across more types of play. If Ilphonic connects these systems properly, leveling a hero can change what job we perform for the town instead of making us 3% better at the same lap around the same pile of lumber. And now we get to the little trailer detail that's been making me scratch my head for a while, trying to figure out what's actually going on here. In the Halloween footage we've been shown, a hero shines a light across the front of a movie theater. Now, Michael's standing inside that ticket booth for about half a second. Light moves away. The hero pans back almost immediately.
So what ability is
Look
that?
at the booth itself. I can't see a normal exit that would let him casually step out before the light returns. Shape jump can explain the disappearance because, Michael can enter or exit that shadow state.
Because that's
when
a
he's hidden
quick
by
little
darkness and outside,
one too.
residents' line of
Unless you
sight.
do like a
Shape
clone
Slip
or
can
something.
place Michael inside hiding locations and then let him emerge from them. The booth could also just be trailer editing. But Ilphonic has confirmed that we have only seen a portion of Michael's kit. Additional abilities exist for sure, and that opens up another possibility. The figure in the booth could be some kind of projection, apparition, or maybe a decoy.
That can
Imagine
play with
Michael
people's
placing an
head.
image
I
of
just
himself in
seen
a
Mike
location,
right
forcing us to
there.
stop, check it
Where
out,
you
and
go?
wonder
Whole
whether the
time
shape
you
we're
on the
looking
whole
at
nother side of
is
the
real
map.
thing. Then the actual Michael steps out behind us because we didn't have enough reasons to have a spare pair of clean underwear nearby already. Now I'm speculating, obviously. The footage gives us no evidence that Michael's killer level unlocks
Or it
an
can be like a
ability that, and the
delusion
booth
thing
may
after you don't
be
stalk them
explained
so
by
long.
shape jump, shape slip. You know, once we can play the game ourselves, we'll find out. Still, the shot is deliberate, the booth is unusual, and part of Michael's kid does remain
That's
hidden.
what it might
I think
be.
that's worth putting the possibility on the board for sure. But that booth shot sets the standard for what I want Michael's progression to be. Give us a different build that emphasize stalking, deception, or direct aggression. Let two Michael players approach Haddonfield very differently. Numerical upgrades have a place, okay, but another 5% on a kitchen knife isn't going to keep the boogeyman interesting for 6 months. Those unrevealed abilities may all belong to Michael's starting kit. Fine. His killer level, weapon progression, executions, and whatever loadout system Ilphonic has not explained yet still need to keep us experimenting instead of funneling everyone toward one solved meta. I want progression to make me a different kind of Michael. So is this going to give Halloween legs? I started this topic a little worried that I didn't have enough solid information to judge Halloween's progression. I think we do. Leave, even when staying can bring them back. Halloween has raised the reward considerably, but Loomis can't help anyone who bailed 30 seconds after Michael stuffed them into a hedge. Right now, I am more optimistic than I was before digging into all this. Ilphonic's built progression into the campaign, the multiplayer metagame, individual matches, and even the period after death. Few asymmetrical games have launched with that many connected lanes. The systems really do give Halloween a chance, at least. However launches are going to show whether they produce experimentation or, a long checklist that everybody finishes once before we all move on. And all of this connects directly to what Halloween considers a win. Progression has more value here because our job reaches beyond opening a gate and saving ourselves. I broke that down in the video that's going to pop up right here because that explains why saving residents, calling police, and managing the town could separate Halloween. 72 minutes of State of Decay 3 alpha gameplay dropped, and you already know I went through every second of it. We've been tracking this game for a long time now, and this is the footage that I've been drooling at the mouth for because buried in it is a whole
Whatever
pile of stuff that
happened to
nobody's really
State of
talking about.
Decay,
A few things
man?
that quietly tell me Undead Labs has rebuilt way more of this game than they're letting on. The footage has me pretty convinced so far. This thing is way deeper than a lot of people thought it was going to be. There were some questions in live streams about this. I was in the last alpha test, but everything in this video is beta. It was a base utility, something a facility needed to run like power. Now it's a full resource that looks just like Prestige. In State of Decay 2, Prestige was tied to Daybreak, the premium currency that you spent on Red Talon contractors and Clio gear. So if it's showing up here, that's a thread worth pulling because in my gameplay trailer breakdown that I did a couple of weeks ago, we spotted that Red Talon logo on the truck. Red Talon, Daybreak, Prestige. These things travel together in the series. Now, Wayne and Philip both seem pretty adamant in the Xbox podcast interview that Red Talon wasn't really a thing this time around. At least that's the way their tone was leaning. But we keep finding breadcrumbs. We had the logo on the truck and the reveal trailer, the gameplay reveal trailer they did. Prestige icon here. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the apocalypse, the private military guys seem to be circling again. Turned off here is a playstyle choice of Brian's. Crisis averted. We can all put the kitchen. Mealworms, minor stamina bonus, also crafted in the kitchen. Salvage it for food. Bear Grylls would be so proud of us right now. Now, when water and mealworms get consumed, a buff icon appears over the health bar. And I know State of Decay 2 already did timed buff, snacks and scent block and all that. The difference is seeing it on the basic food tier items. We saw two mostly from mutated zombie, used to make boosters. Later we see a feral, restoration loudness, throw range, and fuse. That's firearm level That's firearm level detail on a throwable, as two systems bumping into each other and doing something completely awesome. And nasty all at the systems bumping into each other and doing something completely awesome and nasty all at the same time. Quietness. 8. That's a genuine weapon stat system, looter quietness. 8. That's a genuine weapon stat system, looter shooter stuff of our weapons, complete with rate of fire selection, and that's huge. And another huge of our weapons, complete with rate of fire selection, and that's huge. And another huge thing I've been waiting, tires, push bar, floodlights on top of this truck. Huge thing I've been waiting, tires, push bar, floodlights on top of this truck. This reads as way more than switch on. I'm going to absolutely lose my bloody mind. So now we know the systems are deep and have gotten way pops heads or just annoys your target. Your skill choices look like they tie into your loadouts in a much deeper way than they did previously. So I'm probably not going to be running Preppers 22 and a mallet for like 90% of my runs anymore, depending upon which skills I select. So that's a really cool feature. Bloaters got way cooler too. You need to time your shots now. Stealth mode before it inflates, or you can wait for the belly to swell up if it's getting ready to attack you. Right before it spews, that's going to be your window to pop it. No more free kills on the gas balloon. This Juggernaut fight looks super cool, and we can learn a lot from this little encounter. The survivor eats a chunk of AoE damage off a ground slam, and then the Jug's neck and its forearms start glowing and goes into a rage, charges, slams the ground again, does a stomp, and then it puts the survivor down. He gets up once, and then an NPC runs over mid-fight and revives him. This thing went from a big dumb wall of meat to a legit panic event. And you can see when the Juggernaut ground pounds, it knocks a nearby zombie flat too. Enemy friendly fire is on. Big guy doesn't care who's in the way.
Kill the little dude.
Those blisters scattered around the nest that we've seen and we've talked about in the past on the floors and on the walls. They damage infected too. We've had that confirmed before, and you can watch it here. One gets shot, pops, and takes out a feral, sprinting past it like a landmine that nobody warned him about. The Plague's own battlefield can turn on the Plague, and that's a tool if you're paying attention. And then we got the weather, which is doing more than looking pretty. Heavy fog at the base that fuzzes your sight lines at mid and long range, especially with lights cutting through it. Real wind, trees.
I mean, I give it to them. It's going to be better than what they've been putting out.
I mean, this looks amazing. Rain that blurs out long distance. Now, to be fair, the weather alone probably isn't going to get you killed up close, even if they add a heavy fog layer. But if you stack that on top of a nest that's already choking your sight lines with that red haze, and the visibility problem could very well compound pretty quickly. Even on its own, there's going to be moments where a light bleeding through the fog, like on this corner, hides a bloater around a corner for just a second or two longer than it would have normally. And in this series, a couple of seconds is sometimes the difference between a survivor making it back to base and becoming the next name on a memory wall. Now let's pull out the map and take a look at how the Plague itself fights back. Infestations are spreading toward the base, connected by these red lines when you mouse over them. They climb up to severity level 3 as far as the infestations and the nest seem to go. They grow, they spread, they get worse if you ignore them. It's that in the walls type feeling from every good Outbreak movie. This thing is not waiting for you. It's already moving while you're busy out here doing something else. I count at least 11 possible bases on the map. 2 awakened Plague nests, 1 gray, 1's asleep. It's probably already cleared, busy, reactive, and pushing outward the whole time. And the size of this map is crazy. Here we have a shot of the full map, and man, it is massive. I've talked about possible biomes in my previous videos and given my thoughts and evidence leaning in that direction, and the size of this map certainly leaves room for different biomes like snowy or swampy areas to explore. I feel like one flavor of the apocalypse on a map this big would get really old after a while, so I certainly hope that we do have different biomes to explore and deal with on this massive map. It's so huge. Here we get into the nest fight, and a lot of this lines up with something that I talked about in one of my trailer breakdown videos. I said that the weak points looked connected to the heart by tendrils, and here it is in real time in the gameplay footage. Destroy a weak point, and the tendril leading to the heart blows up right along its path. Knock out all the weak points, the heart's exposed, and then you can kill it. The bigger deal is that this encounter as a whole. At the chemical plant, we get 3 separate plumes, 3 separate hearts in one location. So a nest isn't just find the room, smack the meatball, and leave anymore. It's a layered assault. We have multiple hearts and possibly multiple runs just to manage to clear the entire thing. You push through an infected zone to reach the things keeping it alive, and you can't just sprint to the center and ruin its day. It takes work. This is Romero by way of raid boss, and we're going to need more than a baseball bat. You can't even reach some of the weak spots without a ranged weapon from the looks of it. And it goes deeper than the fights because the long game changed too. One character shows up at level 12. No cap on the screen, so I'm going to guess the level cap lands around 15, maybe 20. Higher seems pretty unlikely, but that's me reading tea leaves over here. Either way, deeper progression than we used to get. So here's where I land. This is not State of Decay 2 with better lighting and a haircut. Undead Labs has obviously gone under the hood and rebuilt the systems into something far deeper than we had before. The skeptic in me has to say it. The real test isn't whether the game looks good across 72 minutes of alpha footage. It's whether the depth holds up across 80 hours plus when the novelty's gone and the loop either holds or it absolutely folds. No trailer or even a long gameplay video is going to answer that question. But based on what we can see here, I am super optimistic. So, where do you guys all land on this? What do these plague nests need to do to stay scary once the first wow factor wears off? And what's your read on the vehicle stuff? Do we get real upgrade systems, or am I spending too much time with red string and whiteboards? Drop that down below. I'm going to be lurking down there. I'm legit curious on everyone's takes. A lot of this lines up with the breakdown of the gameplay trailer Undead Labs release that I did a while back. The weak point and tendril thing especially. I'm going to put that video up right here if you guys haven't seen it. Connects really well to this one. If you enjoyed the conversation, hit that like and subscribe. And if you want to help support the channel, membership.
Shout out to these guys, man. Shout out to these guys, man. They the real ones, man.
Okay, survivors. State of Decay 3 appears to have a real taunt-style combat ability. Heroism gives a survivor a louder attack
They
that
the
seems
real
to
ones, man.
more infected toward them while possibly giving the group time to handle something else. That's brand new territory for this series, and it's only one piece of a combat system built around stamina, weapon choice, specialist survivors, and knowing when to get the hell out. Now keep in mind everything here comes from public alpha footage, so the balancing, animations, and UI can and probably will change. I spent a lot of time playing the alpha myself, so I can confidently say, for those of you wondering, single player is a whole lot of fun. But multiplayer is where some of the biggest changes may sneak up on you. 4 untethered players can now build survivors for completely different jobs. We're going to get into that a bit more later. So let's start with something that's going to affect every fight. Melee now has separate light and heavy attacks. They don't necessarily look dramatically different, but they absolutely do different work. The heavy attack isn't exactly Van Damme doing a helicopter kick in slow motion during a training montage, but it can hit with enough force to knock infected down, push them back, possibly take off a limb or two, and obviously do a lot more damage. State of Decay 2 gave us one main attack button and then layered skills.
It looked like they
executions
kept their
around it.
mechanics
In
the
3,
same.
every exchange asks a little bit more from you.
To
Keep
me.
the quick swings going or spend the stamina on one heavy shot, and hope you read the opening correctly. And here we
But
can
they
also
fixed
see how the
the-
finishers change depending upon your weapon. We get a bat execution. We see a rifle-assisted finisher after taking out a zombie's legs.
I mean,
Get
it got a
katana
little
finisher
improvement
and a
from
bit
the
of
looks
melee
of
combat
it.
with a boot knife when no regular weapon is equipped. And a quick shout out, this public footage comes from Jay Talbot, Brian Renard, and Sunny Games. Their full uploads are linked below. Together they gave us enough footage for a proper zombie autopsy, so go show them guys some love. So let's talk about the part that can turn 5 zombies into a funeral, your stamina management. From what we've seen so far, you can't just pop enough stamina pills to send the Incredible Hulk into cardiac arrest and cheese your way through any encounter. You really have to stay on top of it now. You can see that in this fight of Jay's with these 5 zombies. Once you
I
hit
was
that
playing backyard
crap like
boxing
stamina, It's
earlier.
near impossible to recover. You're stuck
I
in
got my
panic mode
ass
just trying to
kicked, so,
survive, let alone actually kill anything. And
Yeah, I
that's
don't
me
know.
speaking from personal experience because this has been me countless times. Jay's up
But I got some
surviving
videos to
melee
chop
Molotov,
up.
considering how
I was
valuable
on Kick.
Molotovs
I'm
are
off
in
Kick
early
now. I'm on
game.
strictly
This scuffle with a handful
YouTube
of
right
zombies
now.
got real expensive
'Cause I ain't
because the
playing
tank
nothing.
ran
I'm
dry,
just
and he had no other way out. Now,
chilling.
heavy
And
weapons
Kick ain't
do
talking about
sharpen that
nothing.
trade just a little bit. Powerhouse level 1 is going to give heavy weapon kills a 75% chance to recover 25 stamina. And that's just level 1. So there are ways to make your life easier if you plan your skills right and build your survivors
I'm
for the
just
tasks
chilling,
that you want
man.
them to handle.
Waiting on
And
this
Xerox is going to stack
Halloween,
really
really.
well with this, and it's probably the best emergency skill we've seen so far. At level 2, it gives 100% injury resistance and 50
I see
additional
people
max
playing
health. That
2K.
lets you keep sprinting after your stamina bar hits 0. That's super important. It's not going to keep you in the fight indefinitely, but it gives you the option to bug out if things go south.
I was gonna do
regardless
that,
of how
but
deep you dug the stamina hole. Maybe reach your vehicle, get around a corner.
I
buy
thought I'll
yourself just
break
enough
the
time to
cycle
regain some stamina
this
and get back
time.
into the fight. And in a game with permadeath, that's gold. We also see some smaller preparation buffs. Mealworms raise your maximum stamina. Water improves stamina recovery. Rubbing alcohol gives a small heal over time. State of Decay 2 already had snacks, energy drinks, and stimulants, but those could turn a survivor into a caffeine-powered dodging machine. State of Decay 3 is still giving us tools, but the stamina bar isn't going to let us forget that it's there anymore.
So we got so many
combat stops being one size fits all.
so many games coming to look forward to, and that's coming out and being released.
We can probably expect more choices
like
by the time the full game launches.
What's that? We got that. We got Halloween. We got this State of Decay. We got this game called
as much as I love that one, though, my favorite combat
Blackwood. I don't know if y'all know. Y'all heard of that one? We got that.
Nothing I like better than sliding around like one of the Duke.
I'm finna actually check that out because I haven't
not just one. And here
I know they did some
infected gas.
some recent updates on that. I ain't been tuning in to it, so I need to
but it's exactly the kind of
I need to really check that out. But I fell behind on the updates on the State of Decay, so I'm like,
we see stealth speeds up.
I'm like, let me catch up on all the games that I've been losing touch with. Because I sworn it's supposed to drop, but they end up like pushing it back or something.
And double headshot damage once the shooting starts for sure. And here we have heroism.
And I've been waiting on like Halloween like last 2 years, year and a half.
The implications make it sound like it was built for multiplayer.
I feel like
at level 1, the survivor performs a louder attack that appears to draw
me personally though. I feel like I've been waiting since they put the shape and Dead by Daylight. I was like, man, they should. Michael Myers needs his own new game.
Not seen every rule behind the aggro system.
That Dead by Daylight ain't doing no justice.
Style ability. And that still begs the question of what's going
So that's how long I've been waiting for Halloween, to be honest.
Now think about that in a 4-player co-op session. One survivor's pulling
attention, we got so many games gonna come out. It's crazy. You got GTA ending the year, so it's like
taking out specials
pick your poison.
And then you got a 4th player. He's in the inventory trying to remember which button uses the bandage. Every fire team has.
I normally be on 2K right now, but I had to break that cycle.
That same kind of teamwork. Level 1 gives 50% more distraction loudness, 50% more duration, 25% more radius. That survivor can pull affected away from a weak point, hold them somewhere else, or drag them toward a trap.
Yeah, they young boy, they got it.
To really make our survivors purpose built when you sit down and really take a hard look at them. Then we get to the literal murder machine skill, which I mentioned earlier. Plague Science. At level 3, this thing gives a 50% infection resistance, 75% stronger infection consumable effects, 100% extra damage to plague heart weak points, and 100% extra damage to plague hearts. Man, that's a plague killer, okay? You gear that survivor for stamina, survivability, and then you send them after the objective while the rest of the group keeps the room from turning into the final 10 minutes of Aliens. Co-op turns these builds into team roles, and solo play gives you a reason to rotate the community and choose the right survivor for the mission instead of just sending the same person everywhere because they have the quirkiest personality. Now, building survivors also means working the bad traits out of them sometimes. Negative traits can be a pain in the backside, but unlike State of Decay 2, we can now put in a little work and overcome the negative effect.
I don't even. I think they blocked the Zens on there. I mean, I seen a couple little gameplay of it. I just, bro, I've been doing 2K for a long time.
After recovering from 25 injuries, so your best shooter may begin as a medical disaster, but if you keep them alive long enough and you put,
I just ain't feeling it this year.
Absolutely change. Sharpshooting also
sometimes you gotta break a cycle, man. We got, like I said, we got so many new games coming out. It's like,
development was complete.
I don't know. I see what 2K looking like
with better inventory management.
In the next month or two.
Ammunition, regular headshots did the job.
Not saying I'm not gonna get it. I'm just, I'm not doing the early access no more.
Don't automatically guarantee a one-shot head kill on higher difficulties. Sharpshooting can bring that reliability back, but the survivor has to be built for it. Now, Matchmaking and survivor shooting skills with the right weapon isn't anything new. State of Decay 2
Plus,
already
I'm
had
on my
shooting specializations
I'm
like
on my no
assault,
smoking.
gunslinging,
I'm quitting
sharpshooting, you know,
smoking,
weapon
so you
handling,
feel I got to keep my
stuff like
stress
that made
levels down.
survivors
I
better
get on
suited to different
2K,
guns or melee and different play
man,
styles, you know.
I'm gonna be
What makes it
stressing.
different in State of Decay 3 is how many more choices we have on both sides of that equation. One of my major gripes with State of Decay 2 was that the weapons were just kind of there. You know, you grab a
It's
rifle,
all
choose a
good.
suppressor if you had a few, and that was about all the thought you really needed to put into it.
I ain't got
Here
nothing
we can see a lot more depth
bad
to the
to say
firearms.
about it. I
And
just
I'm
ain't.
digging it, I really am.
I just ain't
We have multiple
indulging
weapons
this
with
year.
different calibers, larger stat blocks, different fire modes, which we also had in 2, and anywhere from 1 to 4 modification slots. But the suppressor is only one piece of the build now. You know, one rifle may be set up for quiet work, another may favor control or raw power. Then you match that with Survivor, who can get the most out of it. You know, the basic idea was already there in State of Decay 2. State of Decay 3 just looks like it's giving us a much deeper set of choices when we build both the Survivor and the weapon. The next change may finally make us use all of the junk that we left in the locker.
That's the thing. I hate these things.
Mines, distractions, and a number of other distractions or combat items, but I rarely need.
Gonna be the main things that kill me when I play this.
Strong melee and the occasional
big old
solve a
freaks.
ridiculous number of problems. I could walk into a plague heart room looking like Rocky Balboa after a GNC sponsored training montage, beat everything to death, and never break a sweat. State of Decay 3, however, is considerably harder. I can confirm that from playing it, and the public footage shows survivors exhausting themselves, losing visibility, and turning a bad approach into another survivor's name notched on a memory wall. Now all these little tools stop collecting dust because the world is harsher, and we're going to need more tricks to deal with it. Drop fireworks to pull a group, place a box mine along their route, use a demolition survivor to make the distractions louder and last longer. We can also use the environment against the infected now. Lure an enemy toward a plague blister and pop it at the right time to ruin that thing's day. We can see that right here as this feral runs past the blister and gets launched hard into that fence, dropping it in a hot second. Spewers can be used in the same way. A well-placed firecracker is going to lure enemies in, and it can also turn the spewer into a biological flamethrower straight out of the thing. Blisters and spewers can now do part of the killing for us, while an ethanol jug can refuel a vehicle, be salvaged, or become an improvised firebomb. You know, we get way more ways to make use of the things that we find and the various things in the environment now. Even the normal infected can break our old strategies. Check out this vehicle as it pulls away from the house. The runners stay close while those slower shamblers get left behind. Now, I used to lure zombies and juggernauts away from plague hearts in State of Decay 2, drag them, drag the neighborhood down the road, circle back and attack while most of the problem was still chasing the bumper. Mixed speed zombies look like they're going to make that harder for me to pull off, if I can do it at all. Drive slow enough to keep the shamblers following, and the runners are going to rip your ride out from under you. Drive fast enough to stay ahead, and the shamblers are going to remain near the objective. So, now one clip's not going to, it doesn't prove that the old tactic is dead, but it does show that one crowd can quickly split into two different problems, and the old lure and circle back trick I used to use sometimes may not work nearly as cleanly as it once did.
I've been
so let's get into the freaks.
I'm gonna check out this
the
Blackwood.
Attention so far.
I mean, I get it. I mean, if you still in it and that's what you want, I ain't got no problem with it.
Is probably the safest answer if you can still reach it unnoticed. But if you're fighting from range, one shot is not going to give us the same old balloon pop anymore. Now you're either going to have to spend multiple rounds, preferably a high caliber, to put this thing down, or you're going to have to wait until it almost fully inflates and then put a shot into the bloater's gut to end this thing in a very messy fashion. And it has a much nastier trick up its sleeve now. It no longer just charges you or slowly meanders around like a local drunk on a Friday night. It can spit a massive amount of bile from a pretty long distance, looking like a biological mortar team designed by John Carpenter.
Is that like some in that plant or something? Or is that just
bile covers the ground and seriously obscures your sight lines. Now the well-timed belly shot is a whole lot harder to pull off, and you may not be able to tell if it's getting ready to launch another round of goo or if it's going to start to charge you. The Juggernaut's kept its charge, but we also see a leaping ground slam, a distinctive foot stomp, what looks like a rage state when the blisters around its neck, arms, and face begin glowing. I'd be shocked if that were only mood lighting, but the effect's not been confirmed yet. We don't know exactly what that does. Encounters with the big boy already look pretty spicy. And that's assuming no other specials show up to the party. State of Decay 2 already had the fist pound shock wave, but the leap, I believe the stomp, and definitely the apparent enrage give this version a much nastier rhythm. The Feral has gotten far less public attention, but having encountered them throughout the alpha, I will say they're extremely fast. They hit like a truck and will absolutely ruin your day if they catch you unprepared. And even with all the footage we've seen, I don't think we've seen everything these freaks can do yet. With the kind of rework that the Bloater got, I'd be surprised if the others didn't have a few more tricks waiting for us as well. Which brings us back to the most important combat skill.
I mean, if... Nah, man. Check this out. 2002K.
I always lie in bed for a second and listen.
Check this out.
A sparrow ticking at the window, wind rustling, my mother calling my name. Then, the store needs opening. Shutters,
so we
keys,
got so much shit, man.
Emily says life gets real if you repeat it. Coffee, rent, small plans. Maybe she has a point. My mother was that way. Pretty, careful, content. She told me many things. None of it was much use to me later. Even on bad days, she kept her nails clean, her scarf neat. She treated small things like they deserved respect. So I play the part. Smile, nod, stock, restock. Hand steady, everything contained. I can play this part because it was me once. And sometimes, right before I step out, I can't tell which life is the act. Need this. I need some sleep for sure.
Alright, cool. So you got clean cash, dirty cash.
I'll set one aside with your name on it.
Really?
Really. Sorry I'm late.
Thanks. Don't be a stranger. Thank you. You've got taste. Cheers. Drop by again.
Yeah, I ain't been caught up too much. Did you pull it all out? Her, she backed out.
Thought I told you to swing by, not haunt the place.
Door was open.
Yeah, of course. I run a business here. She's patched. New glass on the rear, repainted the door, engines unharmed. Leaks all patched.
Thanks.
You sure made a lot of noise. They're gonna be after you.
It's New York.
Let it idle for a bit. I just changed the oil. They're tearing down the old St. Raphael's over on Meeker.
Huh. Really?
Saw it on the way in. Just a fence and a demolition notice. Didn't even make the local news.
Place is closed. New place is open.
Sure, I know you were there. St. Raphael's? For a while?
8 years.
8 years. I didn't know it was that long.
It was a long time ago.
You ever go back? After you got out?
No.
Thought you'd have more to say about that.
I don't.
Yeah, I figured. You ever notice every story about your life starts when you're 25?
Saves time.
There's a burrito place around the corner. Manny swears by it.
I know what you're doing.
Doing what?
Trying to get me talking.
I spent 12 hours fixing your car. The least you could do is help me test it. Get in. What about that girl from the store? Emily, right?
It's
Does she know she's dating a homicidal maniac?
she's my employee. Can't you wait until we get at the place? Shit, we don't come
You gotta be kidding me. Drive, now! We need to get out of here!
on it.
Straight! Take the highway! Hey, we need to go!
What do you think I'm doing?
Keep going! They're falling behind!
Got it.
Exit here. We'll lose them in the alleys. Left! Left! Keep it tight! Construction! Right! Watch it! Good. They won't be able to follow us in. kidding me? They're still on us! We're quicker! Let's go! Parking building. They're getting close! No. Don't let up. Circle them. We're gonna be cornered.
What the fuck? Go! Take cover!
Get down! Just have to kick the horn.
Safe will lecture till we're out of here.
Oh, they got like the Max Payne little health bar and shit.
Not my style.
Told you not to fuck with us! Say goodnight. You good?
Never been better.
Lighthouse Logistics.
Whose lighthouse?
The company that owns the lantern. That's
Where I stole the USB from.
his ring. These are Silas's boys. We need to run. Come on. You know, you really got a talent for dragging people into your mess. Silas is not the type to let go. It's only a matter of time before he hits you where it hurts.
Silas. I should pay him a visit before he visits me.
Did you hit your head too hard? After barely getting out alive the first time, you really think you could enter that place a second time?
It'll just be a matter of time before they find you too.
Let's get the fuck out of here first. You, and most importantly, I need some rest. We'll figure all this shit out tomorrow. Hey.
You notice customers always ask for the one movie we don't have?
It's a talent at this point.
Time to close. Your favorite part of the day, I assume.
Depends. You leaving makes it 50-50. I'll take over.
Okay, boss.
Okay, let's see what you picked.
I'm clocking out. Don't let the lights flicker too much.
If they do, I'll blame you anyway.
Good evening. At least 8 people are dead and several others are in severe condition tonight after a shootout erupted in Grand Army Plaza in Manhattan. What began as a confrontation between multiple armed parties quickly spilled into one of the busiest public squares in the borough. Civilians caught in the crossfire. Vehicles struck. A woman pulled from a crashed car by a bystander before emergency services could reach her. And then there is this.
What the fuck? Go! Take cover! Get down! Save a lecture till we're out of here.
Today we wanted to give you a closer look at Blackwood and some of the gameplay systems we've been building. Our last video focused on melee, so this time we're showing more of the game. Just keep in mind everything you're seeing will still receive final polish. Weapon customization is a core part of Blackwood. Every firearm you own is unique, meaning you can keep multiple versions of the same weapon, each built differently. Almost every weapon is modular. And if two weapons are compatible, you can even move parts between them. Most of these come from the black market, where you'll also find military variants, illegal modifications, untraceable ammunitions, and even damaged weapons you can rebuild, strip for parts, or sell. Civilian weapons, on the other hand, are purchased online. Since every weapon is its own item, you can keep an entire collection. Down in the basement, you can display your favorites, organize different builds, and prepare your loadout before the next mission. Blackwood also has two separate economies. Your DVD store earns clean money for expanding the business, buying outfits, stocking DVDs, and purchasing civilian weapons. Contracts pay dirty money, giving you access to everything that happens underground. Between missions, Anton returns home, where you can relax for a bit, listen to music, or get some sleep.
Done for today.
Resting advances the story and saves your progress. As the story progresses, new missions and gameplay features unlock naturally. Main missions can be replayed at any time, while side missions return with different modifiers like tougher enemies, weapon restrictions, or time limits. Combat is built around commitment. Health is divided into stages, so you can't simply heal back completely after every fight. Takedowns restore some health, rewarding players who know when it's worth getting in close. We've also been experimenting with difficulty. On the highest setting, your ammo count isn't always visible, so Anton will physically check his weapon whenever you need to know how many rounds are left. Movement has also been a big focus. The faster you're moving, the further Anton dives, letting you reach cover, avoid incoming fire, or launch straight into combat. If you aim during a dive, time briefly slows, giving you a chance to line up your shots before landing. The environment can just be as useful. You can throw objects, kick them into enemies, or use them to create openings and keep fights dynamic. That's a quick look at some of the systems that make up Blackwood. Make sure to wishlist it on Steam. It really helps support the project.